In today's video, I want to cover leg yields, what they are and why you would want to do them. To me, a leg yield is taking a horse either diagonally across the arena or going diagonally down the rail. So think of the horse is going either off at an angle or as an angle to the rail, but there's virtually no bend in the horse's body, just a slight bend away from the direction of travel. So most of the time, most people use the leg yield as diagonaling across the arena. You would go at about a 30 to 45 degree angle, no more than a 45 degree angle, and sometimes less than that. But it's getting the horse to move almost as much a little bit more forward than sideways. So the horse has to cross its legs over, going diagonally across the arena, or if you're going down, you can follow the rail and just have the horse virtually straight, but there's an angle. So unlike your shoulder in and your haunches in, those have angle and bend. With the leg yield, it's all about the angle, and that angle can be going down the rail, or the angle is you keep the horse straight, but you angle off across the arena in a diagonal pattern. So you can do this on a straight line, or you can do it on a circle. So on a circle, the line of travel would be the circle, and then you would leg yield out. So you can get the horse to move out and away from the line that you're on and just enlarge the circle. It's a great way of enlarging the circle, getting the horse to cross over. So why would you want to do this? Well, the leg yield is a great place for beginners to start and for the young horses to start, because it starts teaching them to come off of your leg and to go laterally. So this is one of the beginning lateral movements, and so it teaches the horse to follow your feel, and it's not all about going straight. So the lateral movements, your shoulder in, your haunches in, your leg yield, your half pass, those aren't natural movements that you see a horse really do that much on their own. You see it sometimes when they're really up, or stallions kind of parading around. They'll do some of those moves, but it's not something they put in their daily movements. So we have to help them to teach them. But with the leg yield, what it does is it really starts to stretch their body and get their body to open up, and they're crossing, like if I'm going to go off here, I'm going straight ahead, and if I head off at a diagonal here, it starts getting Try to cross over his front and his hind. Now this is very new for Try, but it's a great suppling and stretching exercise of loosening up the hips, loosening up the shoulders, and getting a little more extension. The leg yield is a little bit controversial. Some of the classical masters don't believe it's a good exercise to do, that it actually puts the horse a little more on the forehand. It's not really an engaging exercise. So there's a little bit of a controversy over the leg yield, but I feel like it's a good exercise for horses that are starting off, because it helps to supple them, and it's a good exercise for the human who's not really familiar with lateral work to start getting the horse responsive, moving left and right laterally, getting them to come off of your leg. So it's not something that you're going to do forever. or I should say, it's not something you're going to stay with forever. You're going to move on into your shoulder in and haunches in and half pass as you develop along, and you're going to use the leg yield less and less. But it's a really good exercise to know, because there's all kinds of variations of different exercises. Over the next few months, I'm going to go through all the lateral movements. And once you know the lateral movements, now it gets fun, because you can start to incorporate in, maybe you do a leg yield for 3 or 4 strides into a shoulder in, into a haunches in. So you can start changing it up depending on what the horse needs. And that's what I feel like the lateral movements are really designed for. It's not only just to go out and do a really cool movement, but it's to help your horse become a better horse, to become more engaged, to become more supple. So you're going to use the exercise that your horse needs. So let's say Try here is not able to move his hips over. You know, he's stiff with his hips. I might do some leg yield exercises there, or I might go back to some turn on the forehand to help him. So the more exercises you have in your repertoire, the better you're going to be able to help your horse when there's a need. So if you have an issue and they're not moving laterally, okay, what is it? Is he stiff? Is he just not paying attention? So you can figure those things out the more you know about these movements. So again, with the leg yield, think of the leg yield as you're going to either go off, so I'll keep my horse parallel to the rail and go off at a diagonal. So I'll just show you this. In the next section I'm going to talk more about how to do it, but here I just want to tell you what it is and why you would want to do this. So I'm going to keep my horse parallel to the rail. The horse is slightly bent away from the direction of travel, so I'm going to diagonal off, and as I walk, I'm going to walk forward, and then I'm going to diagonal off, and I'm going to keep his body fairly straight. So he wants to kind of stall out. So I have a slight bend to the rail, but I'm heading off towards the center line, and he's stalling and stopping. He's like, oh, what do you want? So I'll just go straight ahead. So I'll turn around and go back the other way. So I'm going straight ahead. I'm going to leg yield diagonally. So I look off out there, focus out there, and take my horse diagonally, keeping him virtually parallel to the long wall over there. So is my horse staying in line with it? The hind end can trail just a tiny bit, and then the pole, the first two vertebrae in the horse's neck, are flexed away from the direction of travel. So again, I'll show you that. So I flex my horse away from the direction of travel, and I head off diagonaling towards the center line. And I can just do a few strides and then go straight ahead. We don't have to go a long distance. So that's one way of doing it. Another way is I can be along the rail. My line of travel now is following the rail, but I'm going to ask for a 30 or 40 degree angle here, keeping his body virtually straight. Unlike a shoulder in, there would be bend in his body. Here there's no bend other than a slight tip in the first two vertebrae in his neck. So that's pretty good, and then I can walk out of it. So it's that exercise there is a great exercise of just getting the horse moving off of your leg. getting them to really pay attention to your leg, getting some control over the hind end. Now, I'm controlling the shoulder here with the outside rein, helping him, so that's pretty good there. So you have going diagonally, and then I'm going straight, but my horse is at an angle here. So there are your two options. You can either go off at an angle or on a diagonal line, but your horse is straight, or you can go on a straight line with your horse at an angle. Those are on your straight lines. Now you can do the leg yield on a circle too. So if I go around the barrel here, if I'm walking around the barrel, my line of travel now is a circle. And then I can ask for a little leg yield out, enlarging the circle. So I keep the horse bent on the circle, but I just enlarge it through a leg yield, shifting my weight out. And then I can do that a few times, and then I can actually just spiral back in again. I can walk back in, and then I can do it over again. This is probably where I use the leg yield the most, is in my turns going around barrels or obstacles or cones. The horses tend to fall in, and I use the leg yield as a way to help them stay up and stay out and stay balanced. So those are a few ways of how to do, different ways of doing the leg yield. So in the next videos, I'm going to actually go through and show you how to do that, how to get your horse to diagonal across. But in today's video, it's more about the why, the what and the why. What is a leg yield and why you would want to do this. So again, we'd want to do this because it really helps to get the horse moving off of your leg and going laterally, getting them to start stretching and opening up their legs, suppling the hips, suppling the shoulders, and that helps to get a little more lengthen in their stride. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.